that causes headaches and crying and bad words and dark clouds and all that good stuff. Let's go take a look. Welcome back to the channel. So, bolt extraction, or the lack thereof. This is the 352 out of the 66 F250, and if you watched the previous video, we were going to throw headers on it, and bolts started coming out really well of the old manifolds until they didn't. We snapped 3. Now on the FEs, we I think got lucky because, and I've already repaired the 2 over here. It was the end ones, this one and this one, the uppers. Had we broken off the lowers, the disadvantages, those go just into the block. You can't get to the back side. The nice thing about breaking them off in these upper ears is we can drill all the way through them, which is a huge benefit when you're trying to either extract or drill and retap or do a helicoil or thread repair or whatever it is. This side's done. I'm going to show you what we did on this last one on the driver's side. Now there was one step that we're going to skip on this side. We gave it some heat again and we tried an extractor and broke the extractor off, and so we're just not doing that anymore. I've got more extractors, but we're just kind of beyond that. This is the guy, gal, or whatever we're talking about right here. Broke off flush. But like I said, the positive thing is you can get to the back side of it. The other nice thing is when we broke our extractor, because we were drilled all the way through, we just tapped it out the other side. No extracting extractors. But let's get started. The first 2 steps in this process are the most crucial because we don't want to over drill it and use helicoil, and we aren't going to extract it. What we're going to do is we're going to drill out. This is a 3/8 bolt that goes in here. We're going to drill it out eventually to 5/16, and then we'll run a tap through it, and the tap should pretty much just clear out what's stuck in the threads. The only part of the bolt that's left should be what's stuck in the threads. So let's start you down here. And step 1 is you got to get you a good center punch. It doesn't have to be pretty. This one's ancient and it's huge, but it holds a point really well. And then take your time. We got to find as close to the center of this broken bolt as possible. Don't put a lot of pressure on it because you'll flinch when you hit it with the hammer. Just hold it there and smack it. And don't get too worried. I'm gonna get down here on the ground with you. Don't get too worried if you're a little bit off, because you can go right next to it then and just smack it harder if your center punch is good. Look at that a little bit. Yep. This is kind of awkward doing this on the floor and not on an engine stand, but it's a heck of a lot better than trying to do it in the truck, working through the inner fenders and everything else. So the second most important step now, we're going to take an 1/8" drill bit. We're going to find our center punch mark. Now, you have to match the angle this way and this way as best you can. Really, the only thing you can do is just eyeball it and take your time. Just like that. And then you can kind of look on the back side and see how good you did. And it's going to be really hard to see, but we are pretty darn centered on that bolt, so I'm happy with that. Those were the most crucial steps, is center punching and getting that first hole drilled. Now we're just going to step up bit size ways. We're going to, let me see, what do we got here? 1564s. Oh, we're almost through, but whoo-wee. It ain't easy. Okay. Next size is 1764s. We're getting pretty close. We're closer in size this step than we were going from an 1/8 to whatever the last one was, 15 or whatever. So it's gonna want to grab, especially if you got good bits, they're gonna want to grab. You don't want to break off your bit in the hole. That causes headaches and crying and bad words and dark clouds and all that good stuff. So a little less pressure, take your time. See how it's grabbing? And also when it grabs, it'll want to send you sideways. That's it. It don't take much to thin out that next layer. And then finally, we are going 5/16ers. And this one will probably really grab. So just take it easy. Oh yeah. Ah, come on now. All right, now really the hard part is done. And if you did a pretty, if you dropped all your stuff on the floor like I just did, because your air hose doesn't lay flat, even though it's supposed to be the most flexible, bestest air hose in the world. Okay, big deep breath. Hard part's done. Blow your chunks out of there. I don't know if you might be able to see here. If you can see in there, see how what's left of the hole is really just what's left in the bolt threads, the 3/8 threads. So back down here you go. And final step, shouldn't be too painful. We can lubricate from the top here with a little, we'll just use PB. 3/8 coarse tap. And by the way, get you these tap sockets so you can put them in a ratchet. And we're just gonna, you should start pretty friendly. There it goes. Once you find the threads, it won't be too bad. We're about halfway through. We're not getting any big binds or burrs. And I'll show you up here. Basically that tap is pushing out the metal that was in the threads. We're not really cutting much new, just cleaning out what's already there. Little compressed air. Maybe one more squirt of PB. We're pretty much home free at this point, guys and gals, dudes and dudettes. Yeah, we're done. So this was one take, and I got to edit some of the dead time out, but 15 minutes, guys and gals, is what I'm watching on the viewer, on the screen side of the viewer side. That's it. We can run a 3/8 bolt right back in there. No helicoil nonsense. No trying to oversize a bolt. None of that. You just got to have your patience. Now, one of the things when I broke these bolts, and in the other video, I know you probably watched it because you're good about watching all of our stuff. I know each and every one of you are. You're also really good about subscribing, even though the analytical guru computer thing says that like 93 of you aren't subscribed. Dude, you could do that if you want. It'd be cool. We'd appreciate it. Anywho, the issue when we broke these off, we were going to go at them in the truck. And then we started thinking about stuff. You know, it's like, okay, what are the positives of getting them done in the truck? You get them done in the truck. You don't have to pull the engine. However, we knew we were already going to do valve cover gaskets. We weren't sure about how the headers were going to install around things like the starter and the clutch linkage. And so that would have fought us and caused time, almost certainly. Excuse me. And then to boot, this gives us opportunities. It gives us an opportunity to wash this engine, clean it all up. It's a greasy pig. We're going to pull the bill housing, check the clutch, replace the clutch if we need to. While it's out, we'll do valve stem seals so it doesn't puff any smoke. We're going to do the water pump we've got, thermostat, all that stuff. We're going to pressure wash it, steam clean it, and then paint the darn thing. And then also, we're going to go into the engine compartment, steam clean all that, and paint all the black areas. So when this goes back in, it's gonna look really nice and run really nice and no headaches, hopefully. So we did spend a bit of time because for some reason you can't pull the transmission out with the engine because of the way the cross members are. But I'm certain, and I know this customer watches our stuff, we're going to get the additional hours it took to pull the engine and trans are going to be more than saved, because additionally we figured out we had to gut the interior to pull the engine and trans. That wasn't expected and took more time at the time. However, we figured out our driver's floor pan was a little rustier than expected. So now we're even going to do that engine out, and it makes that task easier. So you always got to be thinking in this, you know, rescue, restoration, nonsense of business. Even a heater core. We got a heater core for the truck. Much easier to do a heater core with the engine out and the interior gutted. So it's going to pay off in the ends. And right here, what would have taken us probably 3 or 4 hours to extract 3 bolts in the truck, probably right at an hour of labor. And I get the opportunity. I'm going to chase the threads into all the other bolt holes. Life is going to be really good. I've rambled on too long. That's fixing threads for headers or exhaust manifolds on an FE. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe. Appreciate each and every one of you. We'll see you on the next video.